Today I want to talk about something many of us have experienced, the deep and often invisible marks left by words. The kind that lingers far beyond childhood playgrounds, sharing how we see ourselves, our worth and our world. This is a story of pain, but also of healing, resilience, and choosing to rewrite the script. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. God, I hated it! I hated it with a vengeance, that saying. Who else has heard that saying? Yes.
It's not true.
So, it was meant to toughen us up. But I'll be honest, it never sat right with me, because names did hurt. Sometimes even more than broken bones. No one can truly hurt me with names when I honour and value myself. But it was a journey of getting there. Today, I want to take you through that journey with a few stories, a breathing exercise, and a reminder that healing and self-worth are always possible. So, the phrase actually dates back to the 1800s, and it was first printed in the Christian Recorder in 1862. True courage consists of doing what is right, despite the jeers and sneers of our companions. It was designed to help children build emotional grit. But let's be honest, words do carry weight. And often it's not even what someone says, but what we choose to believe about it. Words do shape us. Sometimes they come from others, sometimes they come from within. It's often not the event that sticks, it's the meaning we gave it. So let me ask you, have you ever carried someone else's words like a burden long after they were spoken? Whose voice is still echoing in your head? Today, I want to invite you to consider what would it feel like to put that weight down. Let me take you back to my childhood. Words shaped everything, not always kind ones. I grew up in an environment where people didn't always choose kindness. They didn't realise how deeply their words could cut. Words could bruise. Words can shape identity. Words can echo for decades. The names I was called, the labels that stuck, they didn't just hurt, they were stuck in me. They rewired my brain, and I believed them. That was the trouble. It wasn't just what others said, it was what I said to myself. That internal voice, the one that echoed their criticism, and I became my own worst bully. And here's the thing, after a while, you don't need others to criticise you. You do it for them. You're stupid. No one wants to hear from you. You always mess it up. Sounds familiar to anybody? That voice isn't yours, it's inherited, borrowed, programmed. But it can be changed. I carried names like stones in a backpack, heavy and unrelenting. But I didn't just realise I had the choice to put it down. Nobody else can, only me. I was 11 years old, still grieving my mum, insecure, feeling battered, and a bit bruised. My father had remarried to someone much younger. She was about 20 years younger than him. I had just sat the 11 plus exam in the UK, an exam that determined the school placement. I was nervous and hopeful. The results came in. I had failed. The pain of not succeeding was bad enough, but then she said something so casually, so thoughtlessly, it cut me to the core. I never believed you'd pass anyway. Those words pierced my heart like a hot knife through butter. What I heard was, you're not smart, you're not enough, you're stupid. For years that became my inner narrative. Not because it was true, but because I believed it. If I had known how to speak differently to myself, her words would have rolled off me like water off a duck's back. Looking back, I wish I could have wrapped that little girl in my arms and said, you're grieving, you're brave, and this moment doesn't define you. Today, I teach this to my clients. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Does it lift you or limit you? And is it even true? Because the power is in our choice to reframe, to rewrite, to reclaim our truth. The turning point is seeing the truth. Much later in life, I had a moment of clarity. No one can hurt me with names if I value and appreciate myself. It's their drama, not mine. The pain wasn't in the words, it was in the meaning I gave them. And I realised I could choose differently. Let's talk about confidence versus self-worth. Confidence is, I can do this. Self-worth is, even if I can't, I'm still valuable. Confidence is about doing, self-worth is about being. When you build self-worth, confidence follows. But not always the other way around. You can appear confident on the outside, yet feel unworthy inside. True resilience and inner peace come from building your self-worth. It's not about perfection, it's about embracing who you are, flaws and all. And I had confidence in many areas, but I didn't believe I was worthy. That's been a long journey for me. And we all have both. So we've got our champion who lifts us up and says, yes, you can do it. And we've got our inner critic who pulls us down. But the other thing is about our inner critic, the inner critic is scared. It just wants you to stay in your comfort zone. Because if you move outside your comfort zone, it feels frightening. So it's actually saying, it's okay, I've got this, to the inner critic. I'm okay, I'm all right, you can be still, I've got it. So which one are you going to feed? The champion or the inner critic? It's a question to ask yourself, because which one are you going to feed is the one that's going to be the loudest. It's going to shout in your ear. So soothe the inner critic and lift up the champion. What I'd like to do for now is we're going to do some focused, heart-focused breathing. It's a technique, it is simple to use. Energy saving, self-regulation strategy. designed to reduce the intensity of a stress reaction and establish a calm but alert state. It helps you take a time out where you can step back and neutralise depleting emotions. So what I'd like you to do, you can close your eyes or you can keep them open, is focus your intention on the heart area of your heart. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. Breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Find an easy rhythm that's comfortable. So focusing on your heart area. Breathing a little slower and deeper. The energy flowing in and out in a comfortable rhythm. Now, think of one thing you appreciate about yourself right now. Say it to yourself gently and quietly. This is your reset. Anytime the old voice shows up, you come back to here. Next, ask yourself, is that thought true that was bothering you? Is it mine? Is it helpful? And what would my inner child need to hear right now? Maybe you are safe. You belong. You are more than enough. Thank you. So, tools for resilience. Research shows that practicing gratitude rewires your brain for positivity. Studies also reveal that affirmations and reframing negative thoughts can strengthen your sense of self-worth. Gratitude rewires the brain. Affirmations help reframe your inner dialogue. So here's what I've learned along the way. Self-worth comes from within. No one else gets to decide your value. Words only hurt if we let them. It's not about ignoring them. It's about choosing not to let them stick. And we have the power to rewrite the script. You don't have to carry someone else's story as your own. And when someone is pulling you down, look around. There's always someone doing the opposite and lifting you up, if you choose to see them. But what if you didn't have, we carry emotional stones for years. That's words, guilt and shame. What if you don't have to? And take a moment to think about your own life. Whose words have you been carrying and need to silence today? Whose labels have you accepted as your truth and no longer need to carry? And what would it feel like to set them down? Imagine yourself putting down that backpack of stones and feel the weight lift. And healing happens when you reframe the narrative. When you hear a critical voice, ask yourself, is that true? Is this my story? Replace it with a belief that empowers you. Practice gratitude for yourself. At the end of each day, name one thing you appreciate about yourself. Over time, those small moments build a foundation of self-worth. Surround yourself with support. Choose people who uplift you and reflect your value. And ask for help. And here's a bonus one that changed my life, coaching. It's not about fixing, it's about uncovering, about becoming. helped me become the person I was always meant to be. These aren't just tools, they're lifelines. So we're going back to that appreciation. Think about one thing you appreciate about yourself. Say it quietly, feel the shift. Now turn to the person next to you. Look them in the eyes and tell them one thing you appreciate about them. Can you do that? Could be their hair, could be their eyes. Just look at the person next to you. Right, thank you for that. And if you'd like to go back to your seat. We can't always control what others say, but we can control what we believe and how we respond. Humour in healing. Sometimes resilience shows up in laughter. When my children's father passed away, we held a memorial service. We all gathered and the speaker began. We are here today to remember Gary. We were stunned. I looked around and said, "Who's Gary?" His name was Greg. It was like a scene from Death at a Funeral. Have you ever seen that movie? We laughed even in sorrow. In that moment, I realised the importance of finding humour in life's chaos. Greg would have laughed too. He had that kind of quirky sense of humour. Humour gave us space to breathe. Moments like that remind me, even in darkness, we can find light. Laughter, love, and resilience can coexist. There's a deeper part to my story. When I was 12, my father died by suicide. At the time, I didn't know how to make sense of it. So I created a story. I wasn't enough to make him stay. That lived in me for years, until I was brave enough to look at it, grieve it, and let it go. I now know his choice wasn't a reflection of my worth. It never was. We all carry invisible wounds, but we also carry immense strength. So here's what I want to leave you with. You are not defined by someone else's words. You have the power to choose what you believe about yourself. Reclaim your worth, value yourself. You do have the power to rewrite your story. And imagine this, taking off that backpack of stones, one by one, letting the weight fall away. And healing isn't linear, it's layered. But here's what I know. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, every time you rewrite a story, every time you choose truth over old programming, you reclaim a piece of your worth. So let me leave you with this. You are never too much. You are not broken. You are worthy, wildly, wonderfully, just as you are. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. But today, those names, they can't stick, because I know who I am. Now I invite you to ask, who do you choose to be? What story will you write for yourself? and place your hand on your heart. Take one deep breath. What does your inner child need to hear? Say it quietly. Honour them. Honour you. And if you're ready to shift those old stories and rise with clarity and self-worth, I'd love to walk beside you.
You're amazing.